Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Google Hangout edition of inviting all of you to the party, letting the real you come and be ready to rise. So happy to have you here with me. Let me know if you're having any issues listening or joining, but looks like it's all good here. So let's just take a minute here to just take some breaths and just connect. There's a lot of information here for you. Calling in all the guides, guardians, and teachers that work with us on these experiences, calling in my guides, and let's just create a safe, expansive space here. And just anything that you were kind of suppressing here in the lungs or in the heart, just anything that's a little discomfort, a little uncomfortable, wants to just shake out, just let it go. And anything that's really in your heart, any experiences, people, places, or things that's really in your heart that has been waiting for an opportunity to be there's a lot clearing from the throat for all of us. Anything in your heart that's been kind of waiting to be sent out into the world, I want you to just feel the way it's just starting to go out into the world. So just take a few breaths here, and if there's something you really want for yourself or want for your world, and you know you're part of being in service and bringing it there, that it out into the world, I want you to just feel, just inhale in, exhale out, and just send it out. There's something you want, there's a reason why you're on this call, just send it out into the world. I'm feeling a collective message of like, I just want to, I love that it's called Real You Rising. The message I'm really getting is, I just want to kind of surpass this. I want to get to the next level. I want to have the higher perspective about this. And that's why I wanted to create another opportunity for us to do this sort of live complimentary call, just because there has been so much tension and such intensity. That's what I was talking about in the last video. And there's a urge, there's like a yearning for all of us to just kind of do the damn thing already and just get to the next level and really be of service at a time where our planet is really asking for it. So just tune into that. I'm going to grab a chair so that I'm sitting while I talk to you, because I noticed that it may be a little distracting that I'm like kind of all over the place. So just 1 second. Okay. Beautiful. Thanks for holding on for a second. We're going to get started in just a minute. All right, and if you're having any trouble hearing me, you can just put a little something in the chat box. But we're gonna get started now. So yeah, have some water, be here with me, because the learning and the energetic transmission is actually starting right away. It actually started when you decided to just come in with us. So we already started to send this love and connection out into the world, sending it where it's needed, sending it where your opportunities are. Welcome to inviting all of you to the party, and this is my secret sauce to making great money, a massive impact, a life you really love, by totally being your authentic self. And there's no push-pull, there's no hiding who you are, there's no reframing who you are, there's nothing you're here to change. You don't have to be here because there's something you need to change. My name is Alee. I'm a soul channel, Akashic Records teacher, and spiritual entrepreneur. And my passion is reconnecting folks to their own magic in a way that feels really accessible and fun and I use a process called the soul board meeting process, which basically, if you've done it with me before, is basically about translating the energy that's in and around you and inviting all your guides, your guardians, your teachers to be here with you and just create this really fun process of actually taking like your file in the universe's filing cabinet and just getting a read on what is important for you right now. And it's about you learning to love and trust yourself and really feeling empowered around that. So that's my passion. That's what I love to do. And I've pretty much always known I'm here to be a light in the world, and I'm here to get people excited to be in their heart and to love themselves and each other. And I'm living a life with a lot of freedom doing this. And the reason I'm sharing that is just that oftentimes if you hear someone say, I'm a soul channel, and I teach the Akashic records and I teach people to love and trust themselves, we think of that as, we don't always think of that as something that also is going to have a lot of, maybe some freedom, right? Maybe the feeling of freedom, but maybe not prosperity, maybe not stability. And I actually have a multi-six-figure business offering this work. And it certainly wasn't always that way, and the reason I say that is just because when you hear that sentence and you hear what I just described that I do, and I get to travel and I get to be with people and I get to really share completely who I am, and people, there's no hiding what I'm really about. It's like what you see is what you get. What I do is what I do, and I get to really be myself. And that's not always the way I experienced my life. I always had this burning passion and a knowing that I'm here to do something. And I didn't know how to experience that stability alongside this work. And I was hearing that it wasn't possible from a lot of people. In fact, I was hearing the opposite. I was hearing that it was possible from people that I really didn't resonate with at all. Or I was hearing it was impossible, or I had to mask my image and my work to look like something else. Or that if I wanted to really be successful doing this, or I wanted to change, sorry about that, if I wanted to create more success, I was gonna have to change what it looks like. Or for a long time I was more in the health coaching realm, even though this was really my passion, because I was told hey, you can't really share this. So there was a lot of back and forth of what I was really allowed to do. And for me, I went to college and I went to school for all the different modalities I work with now. So I had all this school loan debt. So I was constantly working 2 jobs and always trying to share this work on the side and kind of doing something else. And I was basically told this is what it was going to look like. Even though you were allowed to take out 6 figures in student debt, this is what it's going to look like if you really want to do this work. And can't you just have this sort of personality and have these sort of abilities, but kind of secretly have them and be someone that people really like to be around and they don't even know why? Can't this just kind of be your own little secret? And you just get into something that's more reliable or stable. So that's what I heard for a long time. And a few years ago, I finally had this moment where it was okay, I'm done kind of parceling myself out to make different people comfortable and to adapt to different environments. But I'm also really done working nonstop and never really having, a lot of things I had to miss out on. And some of you might resonate, right? When you're following your dreams, there's this idea of well, you won't have money, or you won't be able to take this trip or be there for this experience. And I was kind of sick of feeling so sacrificial. So I had this decision of just, all right, I'm either going back to grad school. I'm going to go back to grad school and I'm going to become a licensed therapist, because I do this type of work anyway with people, and I'm just going to do that because I did have the student loan ability to do that. Or I'm just going to go all the way in. I'm going to dive all the way in and finally really invest in doing this work professionally and really invest in getting support to do this work, and pay out of pocket as I go and do that. And it's I had that aha moment of which one am I going to do? And I just basically made the decision I'm giving it one last shot, because every time I try to not do my work, it somehow gets screwed up or it blows up in my face, because this is just what I'm here to do. So if you felt that way, that every time you've tried to maybe, if you want to use the word sell out or mask yourself, or just do what everyone else is doing and it's just not working for you, or if you're working with clients or patients or customers already, but you're not really giving them who you really are, it's you have to sell them something different or offer something different because you're told what you really want to do with them is like would never work, that I want to talk to you, because like that's basically what I was taught and told for a long time, and I had to really dive in all the way, because it was like I was at the end of my rope. It was like I was at the end of my 20s. My whole 20s were spent trying to do this, and it was like, all right, I'm doing it. So I really want to share how I changed that around to become a multi-six-figure business owner that's having like the things I want and really getting to be myself. And I don't mean it all worked out once. Sometimes you see people who talk about money and it's like one time that happened. I mean, like there's a consistency that's happening, and I really trust life, and no one person is my savior. I love people, people love me, and I know that life wants to support me, and the vehicle in which life is often supporting me right now is through my clients and my business, but it's just one way. So I really am relaxed and I really trust life. When things aren't working, I see the patterns and I'm able to recognize them and feel okay about it, because I don't feel that there's anything about me that's not lovable. So I'm able to really be self-accountable to things, and you know, my clients are happy and I'm happy. Like I don't really have people canceling. I don't have any drama happening. Like I'm able to do this in a way that's relaxing and feels good for me and feels good for my clients. So I want to celebrate you for identifying yourself as someone who's interested in that, and is up to and meant for big things, and is meant to offer them to the world, and is meant to receive in beautiful ways in return. And I'm thrilled for you that you've identified yourself as someone who's going to do this by really being you, the you that's underneath the chaos, the confusion, and the drama that often swirls around us. There's nothing to fix or enhance or hide about you. It's honestly just more of you is ready to shine through. There's nothing I needed to fix or enhance or hide about myself. That was it. I just had to stop trying to like reframe and crunch down and like make people comfortable. And I had to find comfort within myself and then extend that out to people. And when people feel that you're holding your own frequency and that you're comfortable and you're at ease, that allows them to trust you and also begin to trust themselves. So if you have any questions, you know, let me know. But this is really just a call to remind you who you are. So I got a big message when I was tuning into this call, and it's just, you're here to remember that you're not different from the other people who are having the life that you want. Oftentimes we're giving excuses of we can't have something because of this reason, or it's not realistic for us because of this reason. And especially for really highly sensitive people who are breaking the mold in their environment, we often really tend to separate from ourselves as being the type of person who gets to have the money or gets to buy a house or have a long-term love or be successful doing something unconventional or wear that sort of outfit or say that or go there or be attractive to this type of person or whatever. So there's a lot of separating ourselves as people who are not capable of having what we want, and we have a really good justification of why that is, and the world is happy to offer us a really good justification of why that is too. And we've talked about this too. Sometimes we think the real us is combative and difficult and angry, and we're rejecting success from this place of like, I gotta be me. And that's not you either. That's misdirected fire and passion from someone who's not feeling heard and understood. So, you know, we hear that story a lot, you know, that you'll be broke if you live your dreams, but at least you'll be happy. And that's not you and that's not me. So let's just take a few breaths here. And if you've been feeling some discomfort, if you've been feeling like you've had to hide yourself at a job, if you've been feeling like you haven't gotten to really be yourself, I want you to just tune in. This is kind of just happening live and in the moment, and I want to get a better position to really talk to you. So I'm going to move, but I want you to, while I'm moving, I want you to just tune in and just really think about that. Where have you been feeling frustrated? Where is there a lot of repressed emotion for you right now? This feels better. Just take a few breaths, and you're here to be heard, and you're here to have confirmation that what you're trying to do is not, it's not that unrealistic. It's not. How you're trying to live is fair. The desires you have are fair. So for me, plugging into communities and calls that remind me who I am have been such a major aspect of the life I get to live now. Because when you're in the thick of it, getting to the other side where it all works out, you really forget. You know, everything begins to feel unfamiliar and scary and unsure. And especially if you're the first person that you know to really give it a shot, to do something really different, or to offer to your clients and customers in a way that's really different from your community. That means you are what I would call a soul innovator. And a soul innovator is not here to perpetuate the pain or the status quo, but is here to clear it and introduce new and positive changes in. So just decide right now that you are a soul innovator. You have decided on a soul level that you're going to introduce new and positive changes. And that means that anything that's going on in your life right now that you feel challenged about, any sort of desire that you have right now where you're feeling like, I want this, and I'm being told by a lot of my environment that it's not realistic, but yet this desire is within me. Just realize it's, yeah, you're going to be the one to set the new tone. You need to start setting the tone and making decisions based on the role of being an innovator. So just take a few breaths here. Everything in your life, all of it, is in the name of introducing something new to what is already established. Just decide you're coming into that. And maybe you've been unconscious to the fact that anything you're feeling challenged about right now, you're really here to be the innovator about. And it's because you may not be conscious of this because we're guided as an innovator by our own internal compass. When we incarnate into our physical bodies, we do so with an energetic inner compass, fully activated to guide us to the perfect life experience for us. And it's meant to be felt through our authentic desires and instincts. So whatever your impulse is, whatever you truly want, it's directed by that. And it's also directed through the energetic flow of our 4 directive relationships. You might have heard me talk about this before. So these directions dictate the experience of the 4 main links in our reality: the directions of our relationship to ourself, our community, our mission, and our spirit. Now, this is where life happens. And we'll discuss these a little more in a minute. But a lot of times we've been born into a culture or environment where we are indoctrinated into believing that we cannot trust our own intuition, creativity, or desire. We stop utilizing our compass, we cease feeling empowered, and we stop knowing what we really want. Because if you're chasing something that someone else tells you to want, or the culture says this is what's desirable, and if that's what's happening for you, that's sometimes also why things aren't working out, because it's not really what you want. So common reasons we forget and start to mute our own inner compass and stop directing the energy of our relationships is family and societal programming. So we're told not to trust our inner compass, right? We need to ask for a bathroom pass to go to the bathroom. It's more, we are told it's just more convenient for people to all to kind of go the same way. Lack of choice in our environment for those same reasons. So we're not given space to trust our inner compass. And traumatic experiences. So we feel betrayed by our inner compass and decide we must not have one. And if you're clearing something that's challenging right now for you from a past life, you really may not know. And that's why this information needs to be here now. Because as a soul innovator, more often than not, you will take on and experience the challenges in an environment that you're here to innovate. And if you don't understand that you're here to set that tone for the environment, rather than adapt and be disempowered, it's a really frustrating cycle. And it really makes it difficult to just clear it and move on to the freedom and joy that is your birthright. It's not always easy. And as a non-physical being once shared with me in a session, I would say this: the 2 hardest spots in a lineage are the soul who starts the patterns and watches the challenges that befall the lineage, and the soul who ends it, because they have truly not seen it as possible yet, and everyone else is just rolling through. So I want you to take a minute right now and check in with yourself. Did you resonate with any of this? Are old memories popping up? Is there anything you're now redirecting in your life as something to innovate rather than something to perpetuate in your life? I want you to think about it now. So just take a few breaths. We're just going to move a little energy here. Yeah, so just moving, taking some breaths here, moving any grief. Sometimes there's a little grief when we realize we've allowed ourselves to feel wrong or suffer or perpetuate something. So let's just take a few breaths here. Beautiful. So before we move forward from the Soul Innovator topic, I want to just give you 3 ways that you can begin making your mission as a Soul Innovator start to really work for you. Number 1, decide it is so. Just decide. Just decide, yeah, I'm going to be the innovator here. And if you're not ready to be the innovator, you're not ready to release, you're still on the fence, that's okay too, because it's all happening in divine timing, but you need to decide and you need to know what you're deciding. Number 2, you want to pay attention to your relationships. So if you want clarity and success, you want to start paying attention to your life and what is happening within it. You want to start looking at the relationships in your life because life is happening there. And you want to stop asking permission from your environment. So anyone who's really doing the work they want to do will tell you that at some point they had to stop asking for permission from other people to give them the go-ahead that this was a good idea. They needed to really do the work to know that they were in a true relationship with their own desires and their own impulse. And then at a certain point, they had to just decide that they could trust life. And they had to stop adapting to an environment that often is about not trusting life or yourself. So just take a few breaths here. Think about that and just decide, like, today's the day. You're a Soul Innovator. So, you know, as a Soul Innovator, you may have even been feeling a little shame for feeling more intensity or overwhelmed than others. It can take a little time to stop denying or shrugging off your intuition and needs if you've been doing that a long time. And it can feel weird to start authentically taking care of yourself, but your success really depends on it. You are the innovator your environment is waiting for. So just take a moment before we move on and just, how do you feel like a Soul Innovator in this moment? Where are you ready to be a Soul Innovator in this moment? If you have any Q&A, we'll look here. And now we're just going to get into some key information that I've found. Really, when I look around, this is what's really worked for me. It's worked for colleagues and friends of mine and clients of mine. And I notice it in any big leader that I really admire. I notice these sort of key practices here. So I'm going to screen share here. And I want to have this here so you can look at it at the same time that I am. So the first one is to get into your body. People who really trust themselves and come to success from a place of really being themselves learn how to get into their body. And it's crucial because your body is going to give you all the information. So the more you connect with your body, the more you realize, like, your body is a tool for spirit. And everything that you need to feel into is going to be really received by your body and worked through with your body. And anything that's not working for you is going to be expressed by what's happening in your body. The other piece of that is that you're going to want to start to feel into what sort of physical presence you'd like to have. How would you like to share yourself physically and visibly? So there's a connection to the body you want to come into. So as we go through each one of these practices, I'm just going to send a little energy to you for each thing. So let's just opening the Akashic vibrational records of this class and this call, bringing in all the guides and guardians and teachers that are here with us. And let's just tune into the soul lineage of every person who is part of this call and is going to listen and see this hangout. And let's just tune into any sort of message we can use, any sort of energy we can use to really connect people to their body. Just take some breaths here. There's a lot of energy moving from the throat into the heart. So your voice, your expression is part of your body. And there's just a commitment we're stepping into. It feels very soft and gentle. There's just a very soft, easy, little bit of a course correct, where if you've been using the physical tool of your voice and your throat and your body language to express things that are not really in your heart, you're just gently moving into letting your body express what's really in your heart. So if you were to let your body express what's really in your heart, what would that feel like, sound like, and look like? It's just, ooh, this is just nice and gentle energy. Just let yourself sit into that and think about that. Feel that. And maybe that's just that for the rest of today, you're just going to be gentle and soft with yourself so that you can really feel what's in your heart. And you can let your body reflect that. So we'll go to the second one. Find your gift, monetizing your mission, and let people consciously understand why they're around you. So, you know, sometimes people aren't even positive of like, well, what can I share besides the work I'm already doing with clients? Or how can I share in a different way? And so you want to get clear first on, why do people really love being around you? What really is your gift? And it's not silly to say something like, I'm great at cleaning, you know, my real gift is I'm great at cleaning a bathroom, or I'm great at picking out gifts for people. That's saying something deeper. If you're great at cleaning a bathroom, then you know how to come into a scenario and create a really clear course of action. You're able to come into a zone, a meditative space, and really do something effectively. You know, I'm, for example, someone who needs a lot of support around that. So you would, you know, someone who has that sort of methodical way of thinking and addressing situations is hugely valuable to someone like me. You know, if you're great at picking out a gift for someone, that means you really can feel into someone's desires and really feel into what would light them up. And that's going to be huge in any sort of marketing, any sort of business, any way you're here to connect and serve people and make them feel good. So you want to get really clear on what's the thing that really always lights people up about you. How are you really supportive to people in your environment? And then just allow, you know, you start to develop, and this is what I do with people in my mentorship and my retreat, we start to develop, like, what is that role and how can you own it? And how can you authentically own it and own it with integrity, where it's really something that you can share effectively? Because I think a lot of us are hiding behind a different work role or job role or way of working with people in our environment, where that's not really why they're coming to you. They're coming to you for this other energy, but you think that it's not possible to be paid for doing that. So we have to call it something else. We have to reframe it. You know, for a long time when I didn't know how to make my business work on a full-time basis, I was working other jobs. And the truth is I was there because of my presence and my energy and the way I could give a perspective that was really healing and deep and profound. I mean, it's like what I do with people now, and that's really why I was being hired, but it was like no one could say that. So I could never reach my fullest potential at any job I ever had until this one, you know, because it was we were never really being out in the open. So think about that. Like, why are you really at the job you're at? Why do people really work with you if you're already a practitioner? And is it all out on the table? Are you all really being honest about why people really are here to be supported by you? Because it's that law of mutual honoring. If you're not really sharing and offering in a way that's totally authentic to you, then people don't get the fullest expression of your service and your gifts, and therefore the fullest expression of your value. So there can never be the potential of exchange as there is when you're being really honest with, these are my gifts, this is who I really am, and this is really why you're coming to me. And then that allows people to see what really is valuable to them. So think about that for just a minute. Just taking a little breath here. And the energy that's here for you is just to maybe don't listen to everyone else for a minute. Maybe just take a minute and kind of go internally and ask yourself that. before you ask anyone else's perspective of why do people really love working with me or being with me, give yourself a minute and just tune everyone out, just for like maybe take 20 minutes at some point and do this. Just tune it out and just think, what do I really want? How do I really want to share? What are my real gifts? Like, just take a moment. So I'm just going to kind of transmute that energy to you here. Just the idea of just, before I listen to anyone else, sometimes we're also living a role that other people told us we're really good at. Like, you're supposed to do this, or you should do this, or this is a great idea, or this is the highest potential thing. So take a moment and just, I'm just going to send that. I want you to just breathe in that image of just putting your hands over your ears and just listening to yourself for a minute before you listen to anyone else. Beautiful. And just clearing out anything you might have been told or you might have internalized about what's possible for you or what you're good at. Just come into what you're really good at, what you're really in service with. Beautiful. We want to become a master of compliments, because real leaders love people and see the beauty in life. So I will tell you, that is one of the most generous ways you can be in the world. One of them, and when we're generous, you know, the prosperity in all ways comes back to us. One of the most beautiful, generous ways you can be in the world is to give someone a really authentic compliment. And then you begin to see how much beauty is available to you, how much opportunity is available to you. And it starts by just really being earnest. You know, we're embarrassed. Sometimes we're embarrassed to give people a really authentic compliment or to share really deeply from our heart. You know, how many times have you in the moment just seen, I'm just thinking of, like, you know, I just saw a couple that I'm friends with, and just in that moment, it's just, they're so beautiful together. Like, looking at them together and their love and their excitement of having found each other, it was just like such a beautiful moment in the way they were connecting. And it's like, you know, when you're just hanging out, shooting the shiz with people, maybe you wouldn't always say it, but I just in that moment offered that to them, and it just, you could see the way it just made them glow. So think about that. Sometimes do you sit on your hands, and I don't mean being inappropriate to people or crossing boundaries, but do you sometimes kind of sit on your hands a little bit when you're really identifying something beautiful in the world or in someone else? They want to hear it. We're all trying to learn how to receive an authentic compliment, and you will be remembered for that, and you will be brought to another level of respect and integrity in other people's eyes, because there's something very confident and powerful about someone who sees beauty in someone else and shares it in that moment. And it begins to make you feel good, and you begin to really trust yourself and life. And it's one of the most empowering ways you can start bringing yourself into a really prosperous experience of reality, is start being generous with sharing the beauty you're seeing in other people. So now we're just opening the heart here a little bit and just making you more receptive to allowing other people to share your beauty with you. So as you become more comfortable with receiving other people's kindness and other people's reflection, you will begin to share that more with others. We're just taking a few moments here, just opening your heart, putting the hands down, and just, again, feeling nice and soft and receptive, maybe even feeling just beautiful energetic spirals, very magnetic spirals. They're just bringing in all the energy of love and compliment, and the world really reflecting to you your own beauty. Just take a few breaths here. Just decide that you won't push off someone's compliment the next time it happens. You don't have to apologize or justify or scrunch down. That person's seeing your beauty and is wanting to reflect that to you. Okay. The next thing is to just expect to regress as you activate success. So you got to see it to heal it. So sometimes we're nervous because we're in a good direction and we've got some momentum and we really want something and we're seeing it happen for ourselves. And just realize, like, that's very natural, that as you're kind of moving forward and rising up and kind of healing something, sometimes you have to see it. You weren't maybe ready. It was still a blind spot for you. So sometimes there's going to be a behavior or a relationship or emotion or a physical experience that would have been a blind spot until now. So you got to see it. And the way you transcend that issue is just to react to it differently. You just respond to it differently. So that really brings me to something I want to share, which is just when you're moving up, when you're starting to really, when you're starting to really change and up level and make different choices for yourself, you want to expect these 3 scenarios. So I'm going to share that with you right now. Physical healing crisis or detoxification. So this may look like a cough, a sore throat, cold, mild headache, or sensitive tummy. You can see the different things there. Something chronic from the past showing itself briefly. An emotional or energetic healing crisis or detoxification. And this may look like an unresolved or repressed trauma, fear, or anxiety from the past coming up to be witnessed and to be released. It can also be a release of negative energies that have been attached to a particular story or in your family tree. And it may be processed as high-level emotion, anxiety, or bad dreams. So it could be physical, it could be emotional. Then this is a good one to also know about, is just change of relationship resonance. So there may be a shakeup if you've had a relationship in your life that is not a match to you knowing you deserve positivity, love, empowerment. There may be an unexpected drama or break in relationship you already knew on some level had to either be resolved or released. Or you may walk into a scenario that's especially exaggerated. And sometimes we need a space or a shorter break from these connections. That could be in relationship to yourself, community, mission, or spirit. So in relationship to you, the people around you, what you're here to really do, and your connection to the divine and to the environment and something bigger really communicating with you. So these are 3 things, 3 scenarios you really want to recognize might happen. So sometimes when we start to really up level and get to where we really want to be, some of this stuff can pop up. And I wanted to just remind you that you don't have to see that as, oh, okay, never mind, this isn't for me, or this isn't meant to be, or this isn't, I'm not ready for this. This is like all the stuff that's been repressed because it's how you've been, it's where you've been operating from. And then you start making decisions where you're not operating from these issues anymore. They've got to go. And how are they going to go? They're going to rise up and they're going to become visible for a little bit. And you just want to really honor that. So there's ways to really honor that frequency transition. So I'm going to share some of the details with you as I talk about it at the same time. So one way you can honor it is to honor, well, here's the thing. It's important to honor this, as I put right here, because the scenario will not improve if you don't listen to the message. And if you've been shrugging off your needs for a long time, it's going to be extremely empowering to treat this as real for yourself. And this is how you begin to start to be more psychic, be more intuitive, make the decisions that are going to be really inspired action that have a huge, a huge positive outcome for you. And you're going to enhance your abilities. It's just, you have to understand this also to be integrity with working with other people. So other people who might work with you as clients or patients or whatever the work is you do, or customers, some of this stuff might come up for them. So you want to understand this is what happens when people are changing levels in their life, and you want to understand this for you so that you don't take yourself out of the game. So you need to honor your physical needs. So here I have some ideas here. You need to forget what your body used to be able to handle as far as, oh, but I used to be able to drink that way, or have coffee like this, or eat these things, or get 5 hours of sleep and it was fine. Yeah, you used to be able to do that, but you here, the you that's not repressing any of your desires anymore, needs something different. So this is a really fun experience to begin honoring your physical needs. Honoring your emotional and energetic needs. So this is to stop adapting to the environment. Ask for support and space. Step away from really traumatic, news stories on Facebook or on TV. Don't watch movies that are super disturbing right now if you're transmuting a lot of what's happening on the planet right now. Like, that's okay. So yeah, that's an example there. And so I'm just going to keep flipping back and forth here a little bit. And, you know, this is sometimes you just have to roll with it. So as you can see, I don't use Google Hangout too much, and so I'm kind of learning it. I know the energy and the information that I need to share with you is here. And there were some things that happened a little last minute, and that's just part of it. It's like, yeah, I'm just rolling with it. I'm learning how to be more supported when I try new things, you know. But I just love being with all of you, and hopefully if you have any questions or any issue with getting some of the information, let me know. But I'm going to record this, and that way you'll also have the recording and you'll have the content. So we'll just take a few breaths here. And let's just bring in a little energetic activation. If maybe you haven't been honoring a frequency transition that's happening for you, or maybe you're recognizing now that's what's happening, let's just take a few breaths here. So where I'm really feeling we want to clear is in the sexual space of the body, the sexual creative space of the body. So I'm going to make a sound right now because there's some energy that wants to come through. So just let yourself get nice and soft, putting maybe a hand on the lower belly, a hand on the heart, just feeling into what's been happening to you in the space of intimacy and creativity and what you've been taking in from other people. So it could be sexually, but it just feels like what sort of experiences are you really taking in and processing, and like what really needs to be released. So I'm just going to take a few breaths here, and you can just keep breathing in, and this sound will come through, and we'll see what happens. Just let that frequency through the body, and there's just a lot releasing here. So it feels like if there's any anything you've needed to release around the energy of fathers or dominant masculine energy in your life, that's releasing here. So anything you felt forced to take in or forced to receive, let that just gently release here. This is part of what's shifting in the frequency transition for you. So just let that go. And now it's safe to really prioritize your needs. Feel that just moving through the lower half of the body. Beautiful. Anything that needs to move, any sadness, anything you've been worried is still an issue or still not allowing full intimacy or allowing you to fully receive, because it takes a lot to really allow yourself to receive all the good you want in your life. Just feel the way everything that's made you afraid to take in too much is just releasing here. Releasing here very gently. Letting that move down through the legs, through the lower body. You don't have to be afraid anymore. You don't have to take in things that don't feel good in order to receive the security or the support you need. You don't need to be, sometimes we think we have to be someone we're not to get the things we want or need. So feel the way that's releasing from how you're going to receive. Just take a few more breaths here. Beautiful. Beautiful. And so, what else do we want to share? So actually I want to go to this one, and then we'll go to those other ones. What were you taught you need to manipulate? You can heal that now. So that feels like actually what just came up is sometimes this kind of goes to the idea, sometimes we're seeing people have a lot of success in a certain arena, but it's like we almost love the takedown, right? We love when we find out that someone wasn't being totally authentic or totally in alignment, because then it helps us affirm, like, yeah, there is no way to have that sort of money and success and do that. Or, you know, I see even in the online world, a lot of my work happens online. It's like this industry, there's sometimes things that to me are like totally not in integrity or in alignment. And then I think it keeps really good people from coming into that space and sharing that their work, because it's sort of like, I don't want to be aggressive or pushy. I don't want to make people have anxiety about paying me, or that they're not going to get what they need unless they're willing to agree to this and that. You know, like there's this energy. And what that really comes from too is if you've been in a survival space for most of your life, or if you grew up in a really strict environment, or if you grew up in an environment where it wasn't okay, like kind of what we were talking about, the inner compass, like, no, you're not allowed to trust yourself. You're not allowed to do what you need. Like, to get what you want, you're going to have to be under the radar about it. You're going to have to be a little shady about it. You're going to have to be quiet. You're going to have to be a little manipulative. We're taught to do that when there's things we want, and we're basically repressed from really fully expressing ourselves because of those sort of scenarios growing up. Or I would think also could be from another lifetime, right? Or it could be part of your soul lineage that you're clearing that behavior. I see people who do that in this online world and in other, you know, other arenas, and it's just sort of like, yeah, they probably grew up thinking that to get what they need, they're going to have to be slightly manipulative, and they're kind of just allowing that because they're assuming for the greater good they need to fudge that a little bit. And I don't believe that you have to be totally out of integrity to do this work. I mean, I don't believe it at all. I don't believe that you have to do anything that doesn't feel good or feels a little manipulative to get people to support your mission and work with you and to create what you want. But I see that happen a lot. And if you're someone who's noticed that too, and it kind of makes you feel like, how can I do this without sacrificing some part of what feels right to me? I want you to realize, like, it's just like, hey, where did you learn that you needed to manipulate in order to get what you want? Where we learned that as a culture, that we need to be a little shady and manipulative to get what we want. You can heal that now. You don't have a strict father or a strict teacher, or, you know, like you don't have to do that anymore. And again, I know a lot of people feel that even in their work or their relationships. That's the type of thing I work with people on, to heal that. Because the stronger you hold your own frequency, the less you need to adapt to the environment and be, in a way, adapting to the environment is a little manipulative, right? It's like, I don't really agree with this. This isn't what really feels right for me, but I'm going to adapt to get what I need. You don't have to do that. So this is another big one, I think, is if you want to attain a higher level of success while being totally yourself, also means like really holding your values and your standards and what feels an integrity to you. So where have you felt you needed to be a little manipulative? And let's just heal that. So let's just come into the energy of that and see if there's anything to move there for us as a group. Yep. So where I'm feeling it right now is that our self-confidence, our collective group energy self-confidence is connected to overgiving. So sometimes with healers and teachers, if you're someone who like relates to doing kind of like a holding a space and healing people thing, we overgive from a space of manipulation because we don't feel confident just giving to what feels good. So it's interesting. You may relate to that other type of aggressive manipulation, or you may relate to this of, I'm overgiving and it doesn't really feel good, and this person now needs to overgive, or whoever I'm exchanging with better overgive, because otherwise, like, I'm really in an unbalanced place. So this is what we want to heal, the idea that to have what you want, you need to overgive, and that's really coming from a place of a lack of confidence. So let's just heal that now. Now I want you to just picture that there's just like cool, cleansing water, just a bucket of water just flushing out the whole system. So any little place that you're overgiving and your behavior is about manipulative overgiving, whoosh, just a breath of fresh air, an energy of cold, clear water, just clean that out, flush that out, start again. And when that's not there, just let yourself feel the way life will support you. Maybe you feel a little woozy here. It's like, where do I go if I don't have that sort of behavior to fall back on? And feel the way you're just falling back on life. You'll be supported to do what's right. You'll be supported to only give to what feels good. You're going to give so much more value when you're just giving to what feels good. Just take a few breaths here. Release. Nice. Nice. So we're just going to go through a couple more, and then I'm going to talk to you a little bit about how we can move forward, if you'd like to. Beautiful. So this is where we were. Okay. So we're talking about that manipulative thing, and I want to talk to you about allowing. So there's two other things. So one is we'll start with the hunger test, and then allowing people to take accountability for their results. So let's talk about that. So the first is the hunger test. So you have to decide too how hungry you really are for this. So whatever it is you came on this hangout to think about or start to connect with, how hungry are you for it really? Because I don't think that you know, sometimes really successful people I meet say like, well, it's because we're willing to do what other people aren't willing to do. And that's true, but you know what it is also? It's like we're willing to feel what other people aren't always willing to feel. So doing can sometimes just be a few inspired action steps, right? But to do those action steps, you have to be willing to feel the discomfort of, I'm going to ask people to really meet me in this place of authenticity. I'm going to ask for what I really need. I'm going to set these boundaries. I'm going to ask people to work with me and pay this amount of money. You know, like there's all these things that you have to be willing to feel. So it's sometimes less about doing and more about these uncomfortable feelings that come up. And so the question is, how hungry are you for what you want? And I always think of it as the airplane test. I have a friend who, I have several people in my life where it's like something wasn't working or a relationship wasn't working and the person's somewhere else, and it's like, well, are you willing to get on the airplane? Are you willing to jump on a plane and go see this person and figure it out? Because if you're not, then you're not actually that connected or committed to it, and that's totally fine. But let yourself leave this painful story of, I really want this relationship that I don't have. It's like, or I really want to work this out with this person. It's like, if you're not jumping on the plane to fix it, I don't know how much do you really want it. So let yourself have that permission and just tune into that now. Whatever brought you on this call, how hungry are you for it really? Would you jump on a plane for it? Are you willing to feel some things that not everyone's willing to feel and take action steps from that place? Like, are you willing? Are you hungry for it? Is this what you really want? If it's not, that's all good, but just, you know, point your boat in another direction. So let's just take a few breaths here. And there's a lot you're actually ready to let go of that you're not that hungry for in your life. So just take a few breaths here and let yourself just surrender the things that you don't really want. Letting it go. And you're just creating some space for that, what you really do want. So what is it that you're really hungry for? If you let go of a lot of what you're being told that you really want or you thought you really want, if you're really just working on what you really want, what you're really hungry for, what's still there? What you really want, what really matters. When you can clarify that and let go of all the other stuff, it's much easier to just stay the course. And then the last is just to really decide that you're going to allow the people around you. So sometimes we're afraid to jump into supporting and working with people because we're also afraid of what their results are going to be, and what if they get mad at us. And like, you know, listen, if you're going to work with people on something that's deep and profound, sometimes they're going to get triggered and you're the person to be upset with, right? So that can happen too. So you want to just really decide that you're not going to promise things that aren't really in integrity. So when you know really what you want, when you know really what you can let go of, then you can really get clear on what you really are here to share, what your value is. And then you're going to really allow people to own their results and really give people a space to take accountability for what's happening for them. Because here's what's happening when people are doing really well and they're really happy with us. I see a lot of people who want to like take that very personally, right? Take that really personally, really own that, really make that like I did that for them and that feels good and now I can feel valuable. And then sometimes people are going to get triggered or they're going to have their big breakthrough with you after not working with you anymore, right? And or they're not ready to really receive what you're sharing with them and they need to integrate it on their own, and it's their business how they want to receive that. And you don't want to take that too personally either. You want to really let people have the experience they're having, because when you only I just get it. Like we want to take it personally when people are happy. We don't want to take it have to take it to heart when people are unhappy and it's uncomfortable to have that experience with people. But the truth is you take away people's empowerment when you take any of their results too personally or any of their reactions too personally. You want to let people still be the hero of their own story. You want to let people still be on their journey, and you want to allow them to really take accountability for their decisions. So that includes, and this is the final one I'm really going to talk about, but that includes like the sacred exchange of if you're doing a business or you're offering a product, you want to really allow that sacred exchange of financial exchange. So you want to give people easy channels to pay you. You want to be really clear with how much something costs. You want to have things set up so it's comfortable and easy and graceful for people to be able to exchange with you. And you want to be really upfront and honest about what the exchange is and what really is going to be comfortable for you. Because sometimes we're offering something at a price that's not really comfortable because we're not sure if someone's going to say yes. And then as soon as they do, you're like, dang, like I kind of wish I was making more. And it's like, that's not that person's problem. You have to really decide that you're comfortable with your pricing, that you're comfortable with the exchange, that it feels really good, and you're willing to say no to something less than that, because it's going to feel so good when it's a true yes on both sides. Because it's also out of integrity to offer something and not really, and once someone says yes, realize you wanted more or less or whatever it is, and not give them the full value of the experience. So you want to make sure that you're really asking for an exchange that will allow you to feel really good all the way through. And you want to really give people an experience of that exchange and talking about money and talking about that, because this is sometimes the first time someone's really said yes to themselves. This is a celebration. The fact that they're exchanging with you and they're going to take this leap and they're going to, as long as you feel really good about what you're offering on the other side, this is a party. This isn't something to like not really talk about. And this is the thing that really holds people back from doing their own work, is the whole talking about money part. This is a party. This is celebrating that you're doing your great work and it's supporting you, and that these people that are here to work with you with your great work are finally saying yes to themselves and directing their resources towards their own fulfillment and destiny. This is a great thing. This is not something to be under the radar about. So you want to really allow that sacred exchange and really allow yourself to come into that space of allowing people to take accountability and really celebrate this exchange with them and however they're receiving the experience. So let's just take a few breaths here. Yeah, just feel into how you feel about exchange and about support and about allowing others to have accountability and you take account. Just kind of feel all that sort of moving around for you. And this is, again, just something that I work on with people. Is like, you develop something that you feel really good about, that you can really go to the mat for, and then you allow people to have the experience they're going to have, and you let them be empowered about their choice and about their investment. You make sure that you're showing up in the same way. So beyond that, so I gave a lot of content just because why not? I just really want this information to be out there, and This is what's really supported me and other people, and I wanted to support you. So I'd love to hear some of your takeaways with that. The final most key thing that I've found that you need is like a leader, someone who's really like rocking out your work the way you want to, is that you want to consistently be in community where people remind you who you are when you forget. So as I said before, there's like the emotional stuff that can come up, the physical stuff that comes up, and the change in relationship resonance where you don't relate to maybe everyone in your life in the same way. And you'll come back to them. Some people need to go. Some people, you're just in a fragile place of developing and building something that's really important to you. And so while you're in that space of development, you want to be around people who get it and are going to you really hold the space of like, yeah, this is happening for you. And this isn't everything falling apart. And this isn't unrealistic. We're holding the space for you to plug in and remember who you are and take really good inspired action steps that are going to give you the results you want. So that's what completely changed everything for me, is when I had that crossroads moment of, do I go back to grad school or do I really plug in and make this business happen? And what I thought was, I mean, I'm just way beyond what I thought was possible even when I made that on the ledge moment of, all right, I'm just going to plug all the way in. It's like unreal, the people I've met and experience I'm having and the consistency that's happening. So that being said, I knew that's something I really wanted to share this year. So if you've worked with me before, you know there's like a few different ways to work with me. So you can work with me privately. I have a monthly membership group that's really awesome. I do offer things on telesummits a lot, so I create like digital programs. I teach the Akashic Records. So I have all these different ways that you can plug in and start to empower yourself and start to trust yourself and start to have real results from following, your own non-physical team of guides and guardians and past lives, and just like really starting to recognize the patterns that are happening in life. And it's a lot of fun. But I knew I wanted to support people to go to the next level of, if you're really here to work with other people to create some sort of business or offering or service and really transform your relationships and just go really rise up and become the authentic teacher and leader and expert you're here to be. I knew I wanted something that was bigger, and I knew that it's what changed my life, and that it's like, for me to be in integrity, it's time for me to offer that and give that opportunity to people who have really decided you're the person for me to work with. Then I need to make sure they have a container like this. And it's really how I want to work with people too. So I'm going to share with you the information on that right now as well. And there's more around money. Oh, there's just so much more I wanted to talk to all of you about. Honoring the sacred exchange. So what I might do is, when I send out this recording, then I will also add this PDF file. Man, there's just so much good work I wanted to talk about when you're working with the sacred exchange of working with people and business and money. So again, as I said, plugging into community that reminds you who you are when you forget consistently. That's really the key if you want to create this change. So this is what I'm offering. It's called Real You Rising, a mentorship collective to activate the rise of authentic leaders with heart. There I am in Portland, and of course I wasn't even living in Portland at the time I took this picture, but this is where I've been drawn by spirit, and this is where the first retreat will be. So this is what you get in this experience. You get my 10-part Akashic Records activation course, which includes 3 ebooks. It activates your unique healing abilities. It offers a wealth of content on working with energy, self-care, and healing tools for you and your clients. Even if you don't want to be an Akashic Records teacher, this course is huge. I have people who are doctors and authors and educators and lawyers. Like this tool of learning how to tap into consciousness and get deep insight is something you can use in your life every day, however you want to use it. It's how I do everything in my life. It's how I've written all of my business plans, create all of my marketing, like all the things that you don't think are connected to knowing this modality. It's how I do like all the important linear logistical stuff in my life, and I wanted to make sure anyone who works with me gets that activation as well. Prosperous Purpose Consulting. So this is like all my secret sauce content, and then customized channeled support. As you create an offering and business and marketing content, we're going to tune into like who are your soulmate people that you're here to serve, and what do we need to heal and activate and release and awaken within you so that you're in the space to really offer this. And we want to monetize your soul mission in a way that is deeply satisfying, makes a huge impact, and stays true to who you really are, what you really want, and how it can happen in true integrity. The love is all around VIP relationship intensive. So this is when we get into some deep work around your relationships and around those four directive relationships. And we'll talk about something called love identity. So it's how you're relating to love. So if that's somewhere you want to create a lot of transformation and up leveling, so we're gonna do that. So we create total transformation, up leveling in every relationship in your life, which then also gives you the skills to support. If you want to support clients in that way, it's going to give you those skills as well. You'll get access to any and every digital program and a la carte class I have created and will create in the next 9 months. This is a 9-month program. You get ongoing access to the Soul Innovator Collective for additional community support, which is awesome. It's our monthly membership group. So much is happening in there. Huge transformation for people around money, relationships, health, career, how they're identifying. It's such a cool group of people from around the world. So you'll get that, you'll get ongoing access every month. And then also, this is a certification. So if you decide you want to be a guest coach in that group, that opportunity is open. Then you get bi-weekly masterminding and healing sessions. And so what that means is basically that you're going to get you're going to tune in to the group of people that are also doing this mentorship. What I've found is that working with the other people when you're really deep into working out something for yourself is not that helpful. So I want to make sure that everyone gets a lot of private time with me. So we're going to have like 2 group calls a month plus some retreats, which we'll talk about. 2 group calls a month. So you do get to tune in with everyone. There's a Facebook forum. You can connect with each other outside of that. And I'm going to have a guest teacher every month that's bringing a new angle around manifestation or healing or money or health or relationship, sex, like whatever, all the different juicy good things that are part of having a really full, successful, authentic life. They're going to be coming in on those group calls too. So you'll have that support without having to always hold space for other people. Like you'll enjoy holding space for them when you do, because you're getting a lot of time to work on yourself privately. So that's when the private sessions with me come in. So you can do them weekly or bi-weekly. You'll have recordings. You'll have a private calendar link where you can schedule your sessions. And I request that you schedule a bunch at once, and so we can keep you in the consistency. Then you've got 3 live retreats. So the first retreat is July 20th to 23rd in Portland, Oregon. Next retreats are October and mid-January. We can plug you in via Skype, but I really hope you can make it. We have an incredible retreat coming up. July 20th, we booked this awesome house. And I'm so excited for people to come and check it out with easy airport access. And I'm creating we are having a whole experience of amazing food, and we have special sound healers and yoga teachers, and we're going on special hikes. And then we have this incredible, really amazing house that we're going to be doing masterminding and soul board meeting sessions and connecting each other, and just coming on the other end of just recognizing it's truly your nature to thrive. And we're going to build the platform for you to go into that after the retreat. So as I said, there's also the monthly healing teachers and experts. Opportunity to work with me in my Akashic Records course and Soul Innovator Collective as a facilitator while developing your own unique practice. So the investment. So as I said, this is a sacred moment for someone to really say yes. And it's a sacred moment for me to really share my life. This to me is like my life's work. This is what I'm really here to offer and do. So I celebrate you for exploring this, saying maybe yes to yourself, exploring an investment in your expansion and desires. Even if you're not going to do it, I just appreciate that you're here looking at this information with me. And it's really a powerful choice to prioritize building a life that is sustainable and authentically awesome. And when the desire is there, the resources come forth. So I chose an amount that is actually, as far as an industry standard, is probably not most people who get the amount of private work that I'm offering, this is not usually what it costs. This is usually more what just a group program would cost if you're looking at really high-end programs like this. But I knew that I wanted to just make it an amount that I had found for myself and many other people is available, even if you don't have the so it's $14,000 if you pay in full for the 9.5-month program plus all the content, the retreats, and the coaching. And it's $16,000 when you do it in a payment plan, and you can do that for up to 13 months. So this will probably be priced differently next time, but this felt really right because this was an amount of money that even when I was still working 2 jobs and I didn't know how, this was the amount of money that if I broke it into a payment plan, I was able to do. And I saw many other people be able to manifest what's usually like an extra $1,000 or $1,200 a month, So I felt like it was the right number for the amount of value you're getting, and also for it to be doable even if you haven't stepped into something at this price point before. So if you want to talk to me a little bit more about that, we can talk about that. But part of that is just getting comfortable with really receiving support. What? So that, so I'm going to stop sharing again, and I'm going to send out this information. So that's the opportunity. I wanted to make sure that you got just some really good content for me today, and we just, connected, and we could just talk a little bit. Maybe the retreat and maybe the mentorship isn't for you right now. We have like 2 more spots available for people. We have like 1 more spot to come to Portland for the retreat. And then in general, if you weren't able to make it to this retreat, I'll be continuing through the year. But yeah, I wanted to just give you the opportunity to look at that and also get all this content. So if you have any questions for me, you can let me know. But otherwise, let me just look and see if there's any Q&A. Nope, I don't see anything there. So otherwise, we're just gonna take some breaths here. That's all the information that I have that I wanted to share. And however you end up working with this, whether you do work with me and step into this this container where I'm just seeing really profound, really big results for people right away. So that feels really good. I know it was like the true desire was to create that container. I know how it supported me. I know how it supported other people I know to step into something like that. I've learned what works and what doesn't by being in several of them. And it was scary because it's so much what I want to do, and it's so big an offering, but it's been going great. And so I really just appreciate the opportunity to share with you something I'm so enjoying offering to the world. And if this feels right for you, or even if it feels a little triggering or scary, I'd love to hear from you. We can talk it out. So let's just take a few breaths here. And whatever you end up doing, my intention is that you just love and trust yourself, and you realize there's a lot of content, there's a lot of practices, there's a lot of guidance. In addition to learning how to love and trust yourself, the support and the information is out there. This is possible for you. This is realistic for you. And the truth is we all love authenticity. We all really do love authenticity. Think about all the people who are really rocking it out. A lot of the people we really love. I'm thinking of Oprah Winfrey, right? I'm thinking of Bernie Sanders. There's all these people who are creating massive impact in the world, being really authentic in a way that a lot of people said, oh, that's not going to work, or that won't be successful. This really does work, and this really is the most amazing time possible to step in. The opportunities are here, the consciousness is here, the teachers are here, and it's time. So let's just take a few breaths here, breathing in some space and possibility. And just opening your head, opening your crown a little bit, and just letting all the insights and all the messages, all the ahas, and just all the support. There's just so much support here from all your guides and your teachers. Whether you're going to work with me or someone else, this just kind of was a little spark, just a little light your fire of like, oh, okay, I'm here to do something and I'm feeling into it, and I'm feeling excited or I'm feeling triggered, but I'm here to do something. I'm here to feel something. So just open yourself. I want you to just feel there's like a beautiful spiral up at the top of the crown. And there's a insight or a download or a message that's very specific to you. It might feel like an emotion or look like an image, a color, or just be something you suddenly know. So I'm just going to support the facilitation of that. So just breathe in and just feel the way there's something coming in for you. Whatever's coming in for you now, just let it kind of come into your heart. Be there with your desires there, the logistics and the desires and the feeling and the doing and the being and all of that is here together. It's all starting to integrate within you and become cohesion. And that's why offering a service or a business or having a wonderful relationship or experiencing something really just life altering in your life, it's just really fun because it creates a cohesion of the inspired action and the insights and the healing and the emotion and the desire. All of it gets to come together and have some sort of form that it can be expressed through. So thank you for being here with me. Thank you for offering some form to the formless. Thank you for your patience as I kind of figured out a couple technical things here. And I just love you all, and I love having the opportunity to share this information and this energy, and I look forward to speaking with you soon.